Hello, Ms. Tallarico.
Good morning, Mr. Falgaris. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Wonderful.
We're excited to be back here with all of our admitted students.
Yes, we are.
Class of 2027.
2028.
2028?
Yes. Time is moving on.
Wow.
Yes.
I remember when I first got here, I was like, 2028, that's going to be far off.
It's here.
Here already.
It is here. Yes, it's very exciting.
So, congratulations to all of our admitted students.
Yes.
You know that you've been on the admitted section of our website, kind of going through the checklist of items that you need to complete. Some of those, like the B6T form for transportation, to ensure that your public school district knows that you're coming here and that you may or may not need transportation. And so they need to have all that information. Actually, that was due already.
Yes, and they did a great job at filling those out, and textbook forms, because that's how your students receive all of their online textbooks that they need. So make sure that form is done as well. But we're so impressed with all of the families already that have done such a great job at submitting everything we've asked of you.
And now we're ready for the next step, which is to actually go through the registration process and choose your time when the students and parents can sit with their guidance counselor and choose their courses.
Yep, exciting time. We have some new course offerings this year too. Our program of study is up on our website. Mr. O'Halloran and the guidance team and many of our teachers have been working very hard on, some new course offerings and giving our incoming freshmen a great opportunity. So we're very excited to have you take a look at that and review it. So you can see that on our website under
the admitted section too, and they have a video. They made a video specifically for the freshmen, so it's somewhere on this page where you are now, and you should check that out because it's good for them to watch that video in preparation for the counselor meeting.
Absolutely, yes, and that's about 15-20 minutes. You'll come in, you'll meet your counselor. You can sit and go over the course offerings and then choose which path. Would you like to go on an honors path? Would you like to go on the college prep path? There's lots of opportunities, engineering classes, robotics. We have a great art and music opportunity for our incoming freshmen this year. So we're excited for you to all take a look at it.
And depending on when you're watching this, this weekend, our performing arts, St. Rose Drama, they're performing in the Little Shop of Horrors.
They are. Oh, and I got to see that plant, Seymour. Let me tell you, he almost took a bite out of my face. So I really think you would love to go to the Spring Lake Community Center. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday afternoon they have a matinee at 2 o'clock on Sunday. So tickets are available online. It's a great opportunity if you are interested in our theater company or the music program to come and see what we do. And it's local, so buy your tickets online. Spring Lake Community House.
Beautiful, and they're celebrating their 100th too this year.
They are, and it's a beautiful building.
Yes.
Beautiful.
So in this video, we just wanted to say hello, congratulate you again, and then go walk through the steps on how you could actually register on Genesis. And so we're going to walk you through that now, and then at the end of that process is where you choose your guidance appointment time, which happens on a few dates on Saturdays here at St. Rose High School. Yes. So let's get started. Now, if you are familiar with the Genesis platform, maybe you've registered for public school, it's similar to that. So the website to go to is linked in the admitted student portal on that page. But you could also just go to our website, srhsnj.com/register. And when you do, you're going to get to this page. And this is basically the start page. And it's basically saying to you, please check, for security purposes, they want to make sure you're a person. So it says, please click on the teacup. You might get something. It might say, click on something else. Just find it in the images and click on it. Now, you can finish this at one time, but if you don't, let's say you start it now and you can't finish it, you can save it. And when you come back, you'll come back to this screen and you could click the green button that says, continue with the previous registration. That's if you did not finish it at one sitting. But because I haven't even started, I'm going to click the teacup. And then from here, it's going to actually open up the registration so that I can add a student. Now, if you have multiple students at St. Rose, you can add them all in here. So I'm going to first add my son, and I'm going to click Add Student. And it's one form with lots of questions on it. So let's start. The top is the registration school year. So that's going to be 24-25.
And that's important. Make sure it does state that because we don't want it to go into the 23-24 school year.
We have the anticipated grade level. Most of you here are watching this are going to be ninth grade.
Graders, yes.
And then you're going to go ahead and put in your student's first name. And if they have a middle name, last name, And if they have a nickname or they want to be known as something else, then the ethnicity. And some of these things we're required to keep on data when we
Yes, when you submit our report for the diocese, yes. So make sure you do click all of the responses that they're asking. You know, when they ask a question, and there's an asterisk right by those questions that must be answered. So that will keep you on track. I do suggest really dedicating maybe 15 minutes to this and going through it all at one time. It'll save you a lot of time in the future. And it's one thing you need to get done for your child to be considered enrolled here.
Yes. So the next one is the races, and you can select more than one. Then the gender and the municipality. So this is where you live. It defaults to Wall Township, but you can see that they're all on here. So I live in West Long Branch, so I would go in and look for West Long Branch as my municipality. And because they have the state numbers in there in the beginning, it's actually organized by county and then by city. So just kind of scroll through, and you want to look for Monmouth County towns, and then from there they're in alphabetical order. So that's what you're seeing here. So go ahead and do that, and then their date of birth. You can choose this calendar here if you want to look at it by the calendar. And so I will put in my son's date of birth as March 19th. And then the language is spoken at home. So they're all listed here. And then this is a military connected indicator. So is the student in the military? Is a family member or dependent in the family in the military? And so you can put that in here. Medical insurance, yes, no, or unknown. This is for the student. Who their provider is. Then the health insurance member's name. So is that could be the student's name?
For instance, like my husband holds the insurance. He's a police officer, so I always put John Tallarico in there. Yes.
And in my case, it would be me.
Right.
And then it wants the group number.
And that will be on your identification card. Everybody should have one of those.
And then the member number. And then doctor's name. So this is the child's pediatrician.
Yes.
And then their phone number. And these fields don't have any restrictions, so do your best when you're putting in the phone number just to put it in like I did here. Then the dentist name. And then their phone number. And then it continues, what preferred hospital? If something happened here at school and we had to send your child to the hospital, where? So it's listing all of the hospitals pretty much from Homedale down to Manahawkin. So I'm gonna choose Monmouth Medical in Long Branch. And then if there's any allergies that your student has, you would put them here. Any recent hospitalizations. Now, because all of these fields are starred, they're required because maybe or maybe not, you might have these situations going on. If nothing applies, right? There's no hospitalizations, no recent surgeries. You can just put NA.
Right.
And that will let the field know that you've completed it.
Yes.
But because there is no recent surgeries or hospitalizations, you don't want to put anything there, but don't leave it blank.
Exactly, because it won't let you move forward, and that's key.
Yep. Does the student have any physical or mobility impairments? So you can put something there if there's anything. And if there's any mental health concerns. What school is the student currently attending? Okay, so my son's going to BME. And then what is your sending school district? So that's what school district are you coming from? And then your primary method to school, like how is your student going to be getting to school next year? What's the plan? This might change, but what do you think it's going to be? And then how are they going to get home? And sometimes that's different, right? And then what is your current church? So mine is St. Jerome's. And then what is your child's current t-shirt size? And if you think they're going to grow over the summer and next year, and you want to go up, that's fine. But it's really just to give us an idea. And why do we do that?
Because we buy gear for our students here. And it's very easy for us just to filter that field. And then we know your child's t-shirt size or their pant size, whatever it might be, because they are getting some gear from us. And then the walkathon especially, it does help us very easily find out what sizes we need to order for our students.
Right. And some of these fields here, like the t-shirt size, you can update. So when you come back in September and we do back to school forms, that field will be there for you, and you could just update it if it changed.
Absolutely.
Then the marital status. Are you single, married, divorced? And even if you are divorced, we would like both parents' information if both parents are in the picture. And of course, if there are any custody issues, there's a place for you to upload that.
Yes.
Does the student have any additional house with legal guardianship? That would be in a case of, let's say, there is a divorce and father lives in another home.
Yes.
That's what that means.
Yes.
But I'm going to say no in that case here. And then it just starts with the guardian information. So it starts with guardian 1. Now, who's guardian 1?
I would say whoever is completing this form should be listed as guardian 1. If you want to be the person that's receiving the communication, we will give it to both. We give access to both parents, but sometimes the households, someone is in charge of the finance, so they receive the fax information.
Yep.
Someone just really wants the emails about school updates. So you choose within your family unit what you would like, who you would like to have as guardian 1.
Yep.
Yes.
And, it's normally, like you said, it's the person who's really in charge of the day-to-day school stuff.
Yes.
And while we certainly encourage both parents to work together,
Always.
We need to separate it. So that's why it's guardian 1, guardian 2. Yes. So what is your employment status? So it's listed here. Are you employed, self-employed, student, home parent, retired? So if you're a home parent, then you don't have a guardian or an occupation or a work address. But again, all the fields are required. So to skip them, just put the NA.
Yes.
But I am employed, so I'm going to put in my employer and then my occupation and my work address. And then there's a separate field for city, state, zip, and then it goes into work phone number, and then your work email. And then it wants to know if your company does a corporate gift match. And so you're either going to say yes or no. I'll even add one that says I don't know.
Right.
Because a lot of companies do offer a gift match. So if you donate 100, they'll donate 100.
Yes, and that's a really great way to say that you are giving back to St. Rose. And it's a great opportunity for you to get a nice thank you from us as well as your company. It's actually a perk that many companies do offer that you may not even know about the company that you work for. So check into that, because it's always great to give back to a high school or a school that you absolutely love and you're sending your child to.
Right, and it's kind of free, free money on there.
Yes.
And then, are you an alum? Is Guardian 1 an alum of St. Rose? And you would say yes or no to that. And then, what year did you graduate? High school. So I'll put in mine. And then it goes into Guardian 2. Now, in my case, there is no Guardian 2. So you're just going to leave these blank, and you can put in NA. So basically, we're just trying to get through the form. Yes. And because these fields are required, because if we make them unrequired, there's a possibility that people would not fill them out.
Yes, and we would lose that information, and we don't want that to happen. So that's where Genesis has been great with working with us. They do want as much information as possible about the family. That way, it's in our system, and anything that we need on your behalf, we can look it up.
Perfect. Then, are there any current medications the student's taking? And then if there's anything else that we should know about your student. Sometimes there's just certain, quirks or certain personality things that you think we should know, and we would want to share that. So you can put all of that in here. And again, if anything's required and you have nothing to say, just do NA. Yes. At the bottom, you have to click Save Student. It doesn't automatically save. So as you enter this, you need to click Save Student as you go through the process. After you do that, it'll take you to the next step, which is the contacts. So let's go to that. So this is where you start adding your primary address. So say add primary address in the primary guardian. That's guardian number 1. So I'm going to put in my address. And if there's an apartment, you have your city, your state, and then your zip code. Counties there. And then who's the guardian at the primary address? Well, like we said, if you're both there, you're going to list them both eventually. But for now, you're just going to put in your information as guardian 1, and then your relationships to the student, and then your primary phone number. So that most of you, it's our cell phones nowadays, right?
Absolutely, yes.
But if you do have a home phone number, you can put that on the next box here. So the primary phone, is it a home, a cell, or work? So it's cell. And then you should put the provider. And the reason why is because we can't use the text notifications unless we know who your provider is. So I have Cricket Wireless, so I would select Cricket. And then additional phone number could be, for example, if you do have a home phone number, you can put that in here. And then we would like to know if you have your work phone number. Even though you put that on the other screen, it would be helpful if you also put it on here. So I'm going to put that 2858. And then your primary email. This is the email that we're going to use to communicate with you. So you need to list that here. So
yes, make sure it's correct, and that's going to be the main communication email that we will be sending all of our communication from Genesis, from the Roses Rundown, from so many different things.
Yep. Okay, so we've put in the primary guardian and the address, and now if there's a second parent, parent number 2, you would click Add Additional Parent and Guardian. Even if you're divorced, you would still add that second parent or guardian on here. And when you do that, on the bottom, section 2, it's going to ask you, well, what address does that parent live at? And if it's the same address, you can choose it from the drop-down. You don't have to type it in again. Right. But if dad lives somewhere else, then you would create a new address and attach it to dad. And there are some situations where maybe there is a divorce and then mom remarries and dad still lives in another home.
Yes.
So dad is still considered guardian 2.
Yes.
But if you want to add your new husband as guardian 3, you can still do that by just continuing to press that button. And you can add the different parent or guardians. Then we at least require one emergency contact.
Yes.
So you have to add an emergency contact.
Aunt, uncle, neighbor, grandma, grandpa. Yes.
So I'm going to add my sister, and she's the aunt. Oh, they are pet. And then primary phone number, so what her phone number is. And then is that, cell, work, or mobile. And then what her provider is. And then the primary email. And then there's a box here that says, do you give permission for that contact, in this case my sister, my son's aunt, permission to pick up? And I'm going to check that because just in case. And then maybe that emergency contact lives with you. Maybe it's an older sibling, or maybe they live in a different address. So just for the time being, I'm going to choose that one so we can keep moving along. And then the last box on this page is other contacts. Well, what is an other contact? An other contact could be someone who's not an emergency contact that you want to pick up.
Yes.
It could be maybe your child has a therapist and you want us to have that information. Those are what the additional contacts are. So once you have all of the contacts in and the guardians, you move to the next step, which you can see they're on the top here. The next one is documents. And a lot of these documents you already did. So they're not required. So the one is the B6T transportation form, which we talked about in the beginning. If you happen to have the copy that you downloaded when you did it, you can click the upload doc button here and upload it to Genesis. But you don't have to because it's not required. Same thing with the textbook form. If you didn't do it, you can click the buttons there and it will let you do the form. Then there's the parent ID. And that is required. That's why I see the green word says yes here. So how do you do this? We recommend using your phone, taking a picture and uploading it. And you can, sometimes it's easier for people to do this all on their phone. Sometimes people do it on the computer and then they save it and then they go to their phone and just upload their ID. Some people can take their picture transfer it to their computer.
I know some people aren't that tech savvy, but it's okay. We do need a copy of your ID. And if you just take your time and go through the process, you will get it done, I assure you. And if there is any problems, you can always call us here at school and we will help you walk through the process. But it'll be fine, I promise.
So I'm going to upload my ID. I'm going to click upload. It's going to find somewhere on the computer where my ID is. I'm going to upload it. And then click upload file and you'll see the dialog box saying that it's working, it's uploading the document. And once it's done, that will disappear and you'll see in the box next to parent ID that there is a document attached. And then from there, there's the medical record form. It's not required, but it's not required here, but it is required for admission, that they need to have the medical form completed.
Yes, they need to have a physical. As a freshman coming in, we ask that all freshmen have a physical before they enter the 9th grade here. That's a great time to schedule an appointment over the summer or in the fall. Typically, insurance allows you 1 physical per year. So say you had a physical last September, you will be entitled to receive another physical for your child this current September coming up. So you can make an appointment. The nurses do like to see a copy of it. You can either send that to them via email, or you can actually drop off a hard copy and we will put that in their file. Or right in here, you can upload it.
Right, and when you actually register and it's time for registering for fall sports.
Yes.
It is part of the registration process.
It is,
too.
yes.
So you definitely want to make sure that you have that.
That the physical is up to date and within the year.
Within a year.
Yes.
So if they do a physical in March and they want to play soccer in the fall, that's okay.
It is, yes, you have plenty of time. You will just need to make sure that March physical is redone. So that way, if you're playing lacrosse or baseball or even softball, if it's a young lady, you are entitled to play a spring sport here.
Ah, okay.
Yes.
So now we're back. Let's take you back in. And you see that it uploaded the document, and you can see it says here successfully uploaded, right? And if I wanted to edit it, I could click edit. After the medical form, there's the IEP. If your child has an IEP, or if they're in private school, it's called an ISP. You can upload it here. If you have any academic records, you can upload them here. Any immunization records, and if there are any custody information issues. So they're not required, but they're there for you so that you give us as much information as possible.
Yes.
So once you're done, you would advance to the next screen, and now it's taking you to appointments.
Yay.
So it's letting you know that you're scheduling an appointment with your guidance counselor, and it says that if your last name begins with the letter A to F, book an appointment with Mrs. McLean. So she is the guidance counselor for anyone with the last name A to F. Then there's G to M, and that is Mrs. White.
Yep.
And then if you have a last name N through Z, you're going to book an appointment with Mrs. Fallon.
Yes.
Now, if you go to book your appointment with your guidance counselor and they're booked, you can choose another guidance counselor. It doesn't matter for the course selection process, right? So in this case, my last name is F, so I would be booking with Mrs. McLean. So down here at the bottom in the appointments, there are 3 different locations, and each guidance counselor is a location. So it's giving me Mrs. McLean's schedule. But if I was with Miss Fallon, I would check the circle there, and it would load her calendar.
Yes.
All right, so but let me go on the right one. So I'm Mrs. McLean. And there is no dates available in February because that's not when we're doing them. We're doing them in March. So you have to go to March, and then you notice that the 2nd of March and the 9th of March turn blue.
Yes.
That's because there's available appointments. So I want to do it on the 2nd. So I'm going to click the 2nd. It's going to show you all the available appointments, and you can see that they're only 15 minutes.
Yep, about 15 minutes.
That's all it takes, right?
Yes.
And so find the appointment that you want. Oh, they're about, some are a little longer.
And that's fine.
You choose the appointment you want. So I think 9 o'clock would work perfectly. And then you would click OK.
Yeah.
And it books the appointment, and then you could advance to the next screen. And the final screen is where you review all the information and then you submit. So it's telling me that I have my child. It automatically calculated their age. Don't worry if school is blank. We're going to put that in. Their school year. It lists all the contact information. Make sure it's correct. You can edit it if it's not. Here are all the documents that you uploaded. Then confirms your appointment. Finally, on the bottom, if you want an email confirmation that you did this, you would put your email in here again. And I certainly do want that.
Yes, and I suggest that. I suggest you do that. That way you can say, nope, Jen, I had an appointment at 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
So, and I will know that, and we will have that printed out, and we will be able to check you in when you're here for your course selection. So keeps us on our toes too.
And then it says, if you would like to create an account, please enter a password. You only need to do this if you didn't finish. If you finished all at one time, you don't need to do this because you're never going to use this account again to register, right? It's only one time. So in this case, I finished, I'm not going to put a password in. But if you didn't finish, let's say if you only got to like the contacts and you didn't get to appointments and documents, all you have to do is click review and submit, go to the bottom, put in a password, and you're done. But I did it, right? I'm done. I put in everything. I wanted an email confirmation, and I have completed my registration. And so now I could click, and that's it.
That is it.
I know that the video that we're doing here was long.
Yes.
But hopefully
okay. We're entertaining.
Hopefully it allows you to have full knowledge of what you're doing, so that you don't have to stop and we answered a lot of your questions.
Yes. And have you ever seen anyone type as fast as this man does?
That's it. The video was on extra speed.
I know.
Well, that's it. Congratulations again to our admitted students.
Yes.
We look forward to meeting you after you register and everything. Stay in touch with the admitted student portal, because the next steps after the school year is over is that everyone gets their accounts, right? So all the students will get their email accounts.
Yes.
All the parents will get their accounts, their logins to Genesis.
Yes.
And so that's exciting. Those are things that will be happening as we get towards the summer.
Yes, and we also have another date, March 1st. It's a Friday night here from 7 to 9. We have the accepted students dance with the freshman and the sophomore class. It has proven to be a really great evening. I've seen so many of the kids come in from last year, and they took pictures with their friends on the steps and just really had a great time. And it's a great way to get a buddy right off the bat, or if you know a freshman or sophomore here, they're just a great group of kids, and we are ready to welcome, your child here. So make sure you you come in. You don't have to sign up for that. Anybody is welcome that has been admitted to St. Rose. So we have, over 147 students that could possibly be here.
Great job,
yes, I know,
Tallarico.
kind of exciting. So cheers to that, right?
That's it.
But yes, we have a lot of great things coming up. Keep checking that Admitted Students Hub. It's a great opportunity for you to check out all the things that are going to be updated on a regular basis from us, and any information that you need.
All right, well, that's it. Thanks for watching. Again, congratulations, and we look forward to seeing everyone soon.
Thank
Class
you.
of 2028.
Yay, congratulations.